Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really grateful for everybody's support, presence in my videos. I'm very grateful. So today we are reacting to another song by Sigur, if that's how you pronounce the artist. And it is an Icelandic artist. And this was requested by Andrew. So thank you so much, Andrew, for this. And let's get into it. Damn. Wow. Wow. That was, do you know what?
From La Roche-Posay.
Sorry. I didn't even like say a word throughout that. Like I've watched, again, this is the second one that has been requested to me of this artist. And their videos are just so immersing and so like deep. It's always in like slow motion. At least for the most part, and it's just this eerie feeling, and that's kind of been like the last video that I watched as well, had a similar vibe to it, and it's very eerie and very like, what is the message behind this song? Kind of makes you think and makes you question all these things. And I think they're singing in Icelandic, so I didn't understand, but the vocals were really nice, and the vocals are always very like sort of like what's the like kind of I want to say elevating, but the video it's like this contrast. It's like the vocals and everything's very calming, kind of like but then the video is like, it kind of brings up a feeling of like, oh, it kind of scares you a little bit, and it kind of makes you feel a bit uneasy and sort of scared, and it's a bit like kind of creepy and scary and eerie. But then the song itself and the lyrics, or potentially I'll have to look at the lyrics in a second, translated into English. I'll have a look, but yeah, it's like there's always like this contradiction from what I've seen, even if it's just been, this is like the second video and the second song I've heard of theirs. It's like this contrast between the two, elevating but kind of scary and eerie and sort of dark and sort of dystopian vibe to it. Yeah, and like the water's kind of like that animal that was in that water was really creepy. Like it was giving like Harry Potter vibes, you know, when he has to go underneath the water for this like this trial, this competition, and there's this like these weird like sea creatures under the ground, and it's a bit creepy. And I'd also like to know, I think I'll research it in a second or see if that's even part of the meaning behind the song. But it was kind of, I wonder if Iceland has any like the folklore type stories of like sea animals, you know, like Scotland has the Loch Ness Monster, stuff like that. So I'll be interested to know if Iceland has any of those kind of folklore stories about what's in their waters, like if there's any animals or like magical beings in their waters. I don't know, it was giving that. And also, yeah, one thing I heard at the start, I was thinking, is it me and my like audio? But I don't think it was. It was like this crackling. It's like this crackling sound, almost like the vinyl, you know, when you're listening to old songs on the vinyl. And it's like this crackling sound. That's what it was giving, but I don't know whether it was like the sound of like ice cracking, or I don't know. I'm just putting two and two together, and maybe that's just because it's an Icelandic band that I'm assuming that's like ice cracking. I don't know. But yeah, that was cool. I like that. It added some texture to it, added some character to the song to start with, and it sort of heightened up my senses in that kind of very quiet bit, and then it started to pick up, and then the kind of more of the energy of the song, the band and the instruments and stuff came in. But that was a nice way to kind of get my ears kind of and my senses sort of stimulated at the start of the song, which was interesting. And the fact that they're in the water as well. But I have noticed, obviously, the last video that I reacted to was very much about youth, kind of always using children as the center of the video, which is interesting. And I think it kind of provides that youthfulness, but also like, yeah, I think I said this about the last video, was like there was sort of things happening to the child, and it makes you kind of feel more, obviously if it was happening to an adult I probably would feel like, oh god, like scared, but I think the fact that it was happening to a child, and a child was kind of underneath the water, it was making me feel even more like uneasy, because it was a child, and obviously it's like that compassionate thing of like an innocent child, and that we have to kind of protect. I got that vibe from it, and it's like, oh, that kind of brings out a feeling in the viewer of like, oh, like this makes me really uneasy, because this poor vulnerable child is like, you know, wanting to be free and just like swim in the water, and then it's kind of getting trapped in that, it's underwater, you know, all these things. And then also the diver coming to save, but then the diver like disappeared, like just brought him up to the surface, and then like miraculously just like disappeared. It's a bit strange. But and then the diver was also all in black, and that creature was all black. So it's like, what's creepy is what ultimately saves you. This kind of play on like ideas. It's quite interesting. I could just be looking into it, but I feel like sometimes the symbolism in this video, in their videos, I feel like there's a lot of symbolism that you could interpret, which is interesting. Yeah, and I do really like the instrumental. Like I said, it's always very like calming listening to the songs, and I really love the violin at the end as well. It was very soothing and calming and very cinematic. It's definitely very cinematic, and I love the bit at the end where it was like this cleansing experience, almost like, especially with water. I feel like water always has that kind of cleansing type of experience, and like lifting him out of the water, and it's kind of like all these little details of the water dripping, and then the hair kind of going, and the hair almost looked like when she was lifting him out of the water, and the hair like kind of went like this out of the water. It was kind of giving that creature as well, like an octopus type vibes of whatever that creature was. So it's like all these little symbolisms, and all these like panning into one area of the foot, and then like this sort of area. I don't know, it was just very cinematic, and the fact that you didn't actually see that girl's face either that was coming to save him, and there was a lot. So I could interpret more, but I think I'm going to go into the lyrics now and see maybe what was it actually about. So, you are a fox, you have in the air into unrest, you drift alone. Seafarer alive returned home. Seafarer alive returned home. A diver is coming. Returned home. A diver is coming. So really simple lyrics. So this is interesting. I've got a tab open as well for the context that I'm really intrigued to kind of know more about this, because there's such a deep meaning. But so, Sæglo. Oh my god, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm really sorry. There's a lot going on in that word that would be like different pronunciation, so I probably butchered that. But so that song is a cornerstone track by the Icelandic post-rock band Sigur, released on their acclaimed 2005 album Tak, and as a standalone EP in 2006, meaning Lost at Sea in Icelandic. Okay, so that means Lost at Sea. The song perfectly captures the band's signature transition from quiet, delicate, piano-driven melodies to an explosive emotional climax. Yeah, I did really love the piano chords, actually. That's one thing I noted. And I love that about it. But yeah, it's definitely really nice instrumental for sure. So Seafarer, Lost at Sea, that's what it translates as. So lyrical context, like many Sigur Rós songs, the vocals are used primarily as an atmospheric instrument, definitely. Because there's hardly any lyrics, but it's just that, yeah, it definitely adds an atmosphere to it. The track features a mix of actual Icelandic and Hopelandic. Oh, oh wow. Okay, that's so cool. Which are made up of nonsensical syllables, designed to sound emotionally expressive without holding literal meaning. Oh, Hopelandic, that's cool. Thematic context: the song sonically mirrors the unpredictability of the ocean, oscillating between tranquil calm waters and massive symphonic crescendos that have made it a fan favourite for inducing frisson. Musical style: the track builds from the sound of ticking clocks and winding gears. So that's what I'm hearing, that crackly sound. That's interesting. So it's kind of like the sound of, actually, I was thinking the sound of ice. I don't know why, but I don't know. So that's actually like the sound of a boat. Cinematic post-rock sound, soaring distorted guitars, violin. Yeah, loved the strings in it. It was really nice. So the song's official music video is an artistic dark fairy tale directed by Sigur Rós and Eva Maria Daniels. It depicts a young boy who drowns and sinks to the ocean floor, where he must battle a nightmare of undersea dangers, including a massive octopus. As with many of the band's visual works, whether the child survivor is left ambiguous, prioritising the emotional, surreal journey over a simple narrative. Yeah, it's always left there's always a lot of ambiguity in their videos, and obviously, like I said, I've only watched 2, but from what this is saying, I can definitely agree with that statement. Based on the 2 videos that I've seen, a lot of ambiguity, a lot of, very cinematic, and it just kind of evokes a feeling, which I think is nice. Even if that feeling might be a bit unsettling, I think that's kind of what art is all about, and definitely what their art is all about in terms of this dystopian viewpoint and using children as a way to kind of evoke that emotion and that ambiguity. So yeah, I this was an interesting one, definitely. So thank you so much, Angie, for requesting this. If anybody else does have any of the requests, there is a link in my description to send those over. And if you do like the vibe that I create with my channel, the way that I analyse music, I look into different music from different languages, from what you guys send to me, and just out of my own interest as well, then feel free to like and subscribe if you feel called to. But other than that, thank you so much for joining and spending time. I'm really grateful. Till next time, bye.